everybody, and welcome to another edition of Whiskey at Work. I am Mark with Kelsey and Rob. We're ready to do this thing, aren't we? It's Monday. We're going to do these on Monday now.
Terrible idea.
I think, there's always a reason to drink at the end of Monday, so.
Well, Rob did make a good point, though, of doing it later in the week, so there's something to look forward to. But I just want to get it. I want to have something to look forward to at the end of a Monday, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the week, aren't we already looking forward to something?
By the end of the week, we've already had 4 or 5 drinks.
Right.
Here at the office. We're good by then.
We don't want to look forward to Tuesday being worse, too, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. And again, we have to kind of point out that we are drinking at work. We're all on the clock right now.
We've done 100 of these. I think the people know.
That.
Well, that's some people. I think I've had the fans on the street walk up and say,
I'm sorry, you've had fans on the street walk up to you.
They come up and they say,
They were family.
What's with the name? 2 of them were family. So you have
Thanks,
to explain.
Joni. We appreciate you.
We got to explain what it means that we are drinking at work, and a lot of times, I don't know if I can say a lot of times, we do get work to pay for this whiskey too.
Not near enough.
Nah, that's a good point.
Sorry, Dean. It's true.
All right, what we're doing in this episode, we're going to the 5 regions of Scotland. Last week, we were at the Speyside region is where we started, which was my favorite region because that has Glenfiddich, which is so delicious. And you guys both kind of liked that last week, didn't you?
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was good.
We are kind of going off of not the most popular scotches of the region.
No.
Because they're coming off of my shelf.
That's right, because these were gifts given to Rob. That's why we're doing these. And that's why we picked these first 2 regions, because we already had these.
We had them on hand, folks.
That's right.
We spare no expense.
So this time we're going to go to the biggest of the regions by far, the Highlands region. And I figured you would be excited about this because of your silly little show. Is it really that good?
It's not just
Is it?
Outlander?
Yeah.
I had to quit. I stopped watching it, and I stopped reading the books because I was getting too engrossed
She
in
thought she was part of
it. It was
Outlander.
getting weird. I was living this story. So
you haven't finished this?
I had to stop.
Oh, you're kidding.
Had to
Is
stop.
it like, how many seasons are there? Is there a
Well,
lot
I was
of
reading the
seasons?
books.
Okay.
And I made it through, I think, a little ways into the 3rd one, and then
right.
it was all I was doing. It was consuming my life, so I stopped.
Oh, well, that's weird, but
It
sure.
was too much.
Well, this
I
is
felt it too much.
the
I loved it
region.
too
I have that same relationship with whiskey. I'm powering through it.
Yeah, I don't see
But
you
there are
ever
lots
stopping.
of good things about the Highlands.
There are.
Just Outlander.
Well,
the
it's
Hogwarts train.
Yes, the train that takes you to Hogwarts is the
Express.
famous Scottish train that goes through the Highlands.
Are you going
there.
to tell us a little story about being on the train, or?
No, we didn't. When I was in Scotland,
Sorry, folks.
the road, the highway that cuts through the Highlands is called the A9. That's the big one that runs through there. So you'll start in Edinburgh, and it'll take you up to Inverness, where, of course, the Loch Ness Monster lives. And so it's a beauty. And don't tell me it's not real, because
Are
I
you a
will
believer?
fight both. I'm a total believer.
Me too.
100% believer in the Loch Ness Monster.
Science.
She is part of the Highlands.
There are mysteries in the sea.
Yes. Well, or in that
This
giant
is a
lake.
land locked.
And all over. I don't trust anything that's really deep in the water. I don't think anybody knows
totally
what's
agree.
going on down there.
Yep, totally
Endless
agree.
possibilities.
The
Never-
oldest living creature in the world is now at the bottom of Loch Ness.
Never swim in a place that you can't
No
see
one said
below
that.
your waist when you're in the water, because that's where you'll die.
Where would you
That's
swim,
where you'll die.
then?
No, I'm just, maybe a pool that you can see all the way to the bottom. You can't swim in a lake or an ocean because you're going to die.
I think the only time you should be swimming is in a lake or an ocean.
No, just quit it, because I'm going to get out here and walk out. That's my biggest. that's my biggest irrational fear. I'm totally terrified of sharks. And
Of sharks?
Of sharks. Totally terrified of them.
And
Terrified
Kelsey
of
won't
them.
get in a hot tub because
have
it's
a
a
shark
cesspool
mouth.
of grossness.
I don't know what does that mean, because that's
I have
really
a-
creepy with what you're saying.
I have the mouth of a shark.
Yeah, I'm not
Its
gonna-
teeth are has rows of teeth.
We're talking about whiskey. We're not talking about sharks. I can't
Well,
I can't
shark.
deal with that right now.
So much for this whole
Has
list
4
of
rows
things
of
to keep
teeth
us on
as
track.
a baby.
Kind of knew we'd get a little sidetracked. But this is where the big Scotch whiskey boom started, was in the Highland region of Scotland. This really is where it all began for that entire country. There's 47 distilleries here. I mean, it's huge for them, and it covers from coast to coast.
How many of them are still independently owned? Any idea?
Boy, that's a great question, because this one is a Diageo property. This is one of the, owned by one of the big, 3 whiskey owners, I
Crown
believe.
Royal family.
They own quite a bit. Dalmore, Glenmorangie, they're all part of the Diageo family. They all come from the Highlands. I don't know if they're from Diageo, but those are ones that also come from the Highlands. So it's a big deal. And if you ever visit Scotland, this is the part of Scotland that you'll be most enamored with, because it's the one that you see in all the pictures. It's the one that it's
really
spend,
green.
Yeah, you spend most of your time.
Has a train going through it.
It's got that one train that takes you right to Hogwarts. You can't argue with that, though. It's fantastic.
9.5.
What's that?
It's
platform 9 3/4. Oh my God, Rob! Have we taught you nothing on this silly little series we've done?
We taught you nothing about Harry Potter on
I've
this
got them
drinking
recorded on my
show.
DVR. My daughter watches them from front to back every time she comes home.
Well,
I
good for
Fantastic.
her. That's a
threaten for
smart
death
girl.
if I delete them or change providers.
All right, we've been drinking this for well before this show started, way before, because we had lighting issues we had to fix.
Well, we didn't fix them.
I did. Just like I put the rest of this together. But that's all beside the point.
Do you put up all these lights? Wow, that's so weird, because I thought I saw Russ doing it, but it must have been you.
Russ moved a couple. I don't know if he put them up.
Oh, that's what it was.
So anyway, going back to tasting this. Did you put your nose right in there? Did you get it? We use the Glencairn glasses when you drink Scotch too. Did you notice we weren't using bourbon glasses?
Are you gonna? I did notice we were using the Glencairns because you stole them from me.
I did. I took
and
2 of them.
This one
Yep.
has a chip in it.
I broke that one on the way in somehow. I have no idea.
Naturally, you gave it to me.
But you should.
Are you gonna do one of these?
No, I'm not. But I firmly believe if you are going to drink
Old-time
Scotch, you should get a glass that's like this, that has that tulip shape. These only became popular really in the 1990s. When the Scotch.
So they've been drinking it for 200 years prior to that, and now you're a whiskey Scotch snob that makes us drink all of it out of this
No,
thing.
well, they used to drink it in what was called a quake, is what it was, which was you drank it with somebody. So you poured some in Kelsey's, and then she would drink from it, and then I would drink from it. So
you're not doing that.
No, there's no way in I'm going to be doing that.
What now?
So it was like a
community cup.
bowl, a community cup called a quake, and that's what they used to drink Scotch in. But now we drink it
And
in
we
much
just
fancier
take
glasses.
turns with the cup. Like
Exactly.
I'd just drink
It's
it till
kinda
I
like
was done, and then
communion.
I'd give
Yep.
the cup to
Yes.
you guys.
Yes, absolutely. That's how it would go.
Okay,
It's
no, I'm
disgusting.
good for the individual glasses.
Drinking out of one of these. They do. And the reason why they're shaped that way is because they allow the aroma of the Scotch to come up, and you can smell, and then you taste, and whatever. I don't know. That was total sidetracked on the glasses, but that's why we're drinking them out of these.
It's pretty good.
This is a little more. This is a little peatier than what we had last week with that Glenfiddich. I think it's got a little more of that smoke and burn in it, but it's also more. To me, this was more Christmassy than the one you guys said last week.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think this definitely has more of that taste.
Does it taste like Christmas at all?
Gee, I wonder what Kelsey's going to give this when we do the quick
I don't
sip.
like this.
You don't like this, really?
Not at all.
Did you put a little water in it?
Yes.
And it still didn't change it up for you, huh?
It burns right here. It tastes like smoke. Doesn't taste like Christmas.
This isn't the one you're going
It's
to go
peaty.
Ooh, this isn't peaty compared to what you're about to try.
through. Yeah, once we get to the last region of our little series
you're
here,
gonna rethink
you might
peaty.
just
I'm
quit.
gone that day.
You're killing me, Petey.
This is it's a little bit peatier.
You don't. I don't get it on the front though. I get it as I swallow it a little. It's a little more prominent if you happen to burp a little.
Yeah, I can agree with that. You don't get it initially in this one at all. But again, this might be a really good place to start if you want to work your way up to that Lagavulin or Lafroig or Beaumont.
No one wants to work themselves up.
Well,
that high.
if you want to, if you want to be that guy, this could be a good place to start. because it's not super peaty. But
This one is a little different than a lot of other scotches, though. You were saying this one they age it in a big barrel, and then
they move it to those smaller 20 whatever gallon, 25, 26 gallon barrels. They sit in there for a little while. That's where the name comes from, which is funny because Oban means little bay. So
When you wrote it, I thought up on that board there, Mark Houston writes notes for us, so things he'd like us to say on the board. Joke's on him because I can't really read it from here, but I did think it said little boy.
No,
which I thought was
that's
weird.
what I said too.
I can clearly see the A written
named
there. It
after
says
the little boy.
Bay. So we're drinking
It
Little
makes more
Bay,
sense
Little
than
Bay.
the Little Bay, Little Boy, or Little Bay, Little
Oban,
Bay.
little boy. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sorry.
I'm going to leave that right where it's at. So
It's fair.
there you go. That's the Highland region of Scotland. Like I said, it is the largest region. It has the most distilleries. And the two most famous that come out of here would be the Glenmorangie and the Dalmore that you'll find.
I'm always
Thank God
surprised
for the
that's how you
whiteboard.
say
God,
it.
no kidding, huh?
I'm always surprised that's how you say Glenmorangie. Like,
Glenmorangie.
it seems like it when you look at it, it looks like there should be more to it than
Or
that.
or less to it in
Yeah,
the Scottish
yes,
language.
'cause you
a bunch of
actually-
letters you don't say.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's so confusing about it because it's pronounced exactly
Yep, pretty much
how
as-
it looks, and that doesn't seem right.
That is rare for a Scotch.
He will correct us if we pronounce it like it's not. supposed
Well,
to.
I wanted my favorite Scotch to pronounce is the Scotch Bruichladdich, and that has a ton of letters at the end.
Can you spell it for us?
No,
now?
I cannot. I just love
it.
to say it.
we debated the Auchentoshan
That was a
saying
big
for a long
debate, yeah.
time,
You
and he had
guys.
What?
it took him a long time to get that one right. I made fun of him.
We
It's
could
rare.
have. Hear me out.
Okay.
Scotch
What if we
spelling
took
contest.
a spelling competition meets a drinking game? And we just had a little
We
a
could
little
have
spell off here.
we could have Russ say
I'm a
the
great
word,
speller.
and it could be of anything, of a bourbon, a Scotch, or a whiskey, and we have to spell it as we're drinking.
No one here
No,
is
and then if you
getting
spell
out
it wrong,
alive.
you have to drink.
You have to drink. If you spell it wrong, you have
Yeah,
to drink. Okay,
yeah.
okay, I'm in. That's going to be the episode we do after we finish this one.
It'll be our last episode.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
It's going to be over because you guys are just going to quit watching after that one. Although it should actually be
And
kind
also,
of
I'm
funny.
going to win, and you two are going to be dead on the floor.
We want to thank Timmins Market, too, for being a part of this. And a lot of these scotches, I mean, you can find the Glenfiddich there. I thought I saw a couple of Obans there. The 14-year-old malt is Oban's signature drink. That's the one you're going to find mostly when you're looking for a scotch if you've come across Oban. So Timmins Market might have that, too. Give them a shot out in the valley. And if you're not from Rapid City and you're coming through sometime, you should stop and see these guys because they've got a wonderful selection, mostly of bourbons.
Mostly of bourbon, and
But-
damn good bourbon,
But
too.
they do some scotch too. So thank you so much for watching this one. Where can they else?
I don't know. You
where
guys
they
took the
think-
sign
Oh,
down.
we did. We got this brand new sign.
With
Why-
no social media
Why didn't we
recognition
include
at all.
any social
There's
media
none
on
of
it?
these going on anymore.
What? I thought we were going
Because
to make
I
it
was
bigger.
limited by space.
So we couldn't add anything to that.
If you
huh?
want to see more of this, you can find us at Whiskey at Work, Whiskey without the E on Instagram. Thank you guys. and Whiskey with the E on Facebook. That's Whiskey at Work or Whiskey dot no, what is it? Whiskey
Whiskey
dash.
at dash work .net.
Oh,
calm.
We did get the calm version of that.
Yeah, we at least got that
Sounds
one.
like it should be .net.
Even though Jeff from Texas.
You son of a
Some of the best lines aren't rehearsed at all.
All right. Also, we have a podcast you can subscribe to, too, on all of your favorite podcasting
No, we don't
platforms.
have a podcast.
Sorry, I have a podcast. But pretty soon,
We're not allowed to visit.
what Kelsey and Rob don't know is that pretty soon they will be a part of the podcast. So
Are
right
you
now,
going to do voices for us?
right now it's
Surely
just
you're not going to
me.
let us come in and talk.
but
Everything but bourbon sucks.
pretty soon you're going to be on it. So
Rob voice?
Yeah.
you can find
That's the way
that
I
on
picture him doing it in
Stitcher
my head.
and Google Play and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, anywhere you find them. So again, thank you so much for watching this version of Whiskey at Work. Next week, I'm hoping we'll be in the Campbelltown region of Scotland, if I can get the boss to buy that bottle of scotch.
That's how you're going to end it.